Hello and welcome back to the OPL Week 8, day number 1 between Order and Legacy. We just saw Legacy absolutely put on a clinic of what early game pressure jungling should look like, punishing the lanes without summoner spells.
Yep.
And ultimately, Sybil ran away with that victory.
Yeah, bit of someone finally punishing FBI and Rogue for playing so aggressive.
Yep.
Sybil manages to get down there early, picks up 2 quick kills, and then snowballs the game out.
Yeah, and Bryce is actually here. Ejim's here, and he said, yeah, I don't know what happened because I was saying that if somehow Decoy and Raid don't get a reset here, they're completely boned from the lane. Then I look back up and you guys have pretty much lost the game at like 6 minutes in. And I was like, yeah, it kind of went that way. So I think that Sybil has to take a lot of credit for the victory, but also the fact that Raid and Decoy played on the edge of we will burn summoner spells, but we won't die. Because if they die in that situation, it's disastrous because then Sybil has even less options.
Yeah, absolutely. If they died while Sybil was burning time, burning tempo to pressure that lane, the thing about that is that not only puts the bot lane behind, but it pretty much ruins the jungle. Because he gets spotted, which means they're going to know where he is for the next minute or two. He's probably losing camps on the other side of the map. And the enemy jungler spooks on Sejuani. He gets to do whatever he wants. So it's really, I mean, you, as a spectator, you sort of see them die and you're like, oh, like that's so bad. They died. They're going to lose lane. But like from the jungler's perspective, when your time gets wasted like that, it puts you so far behind. But it's not something you can see on camera.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think that that is a skill set that lots of players don't have, is playing up enough in lane that the jungler can have access to your lane for a gank, but not playing stupidly aggressive so the other lane is like, hey, there's a jungler down here. Or that far back that you're like, hey, guys, if you don't go in, I'm a Kha'Zix. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, push them back towards you somehow? So I think that that is a knife's edge that we as casters don't really call out all that much, and I think was actually executed well that game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will say I still don't know how FBI died. I mean, it was very obvious. It was very obvious how the Thresh died, how Rogue died. He just like Kha'Zix just jumped on him. He had no flash from trying to tower dive, but then the camera moved, and about 30 seconds later, FBI was dead. So I'd love to maybe, I don't know, see a replay, maybe watch the VOD later myself. But yeah, I feel like someone made a mistake there.
And the other thing I feel like we have to point out is that the game was still even at that point because what had happened is they had lost CS and Sybil had been given a gold lead. And at the same time, Swiffer had killed Claire mid lane. So all of a sudden you have Claire being denied 2 creep waves. And Swiffer was pretty big. But the difference is Swiffer didn't translate his gold lead. And Sybil did. And I think that's a playstyle thing because Kha'Zix is great at punishing these roaming mid laners. As soon as Swiffer pushed out, ducked into his creep wave, Sybil just ate him.
That's an excellent point. That's one of the great things that Kha'Zix is great for, and all those sort of fast tempo jungles, but especially Kha'Zix, just because of his ultimate. It makes it very difficult to walk into the river. He'll just walk in, auto Q, auto Alt W, auto Q, and there's just nothing you can do.
Absolutely. As we see a similar pick ban coming out game number 1, it's going to be the Camille Azir Gangplank banned away, even though Camille has kind of fallen off the face of relevancy right now. And on the other side of Summoner's Roof, we'll see Skarner, Xayah, Tristana, same bans from game number 1. Pretty much same pick ban, apart from the fact that we have a Kha'Zix now. Galio, Varus, Kha'Zix, and potentially the Gnar locked in.
Yeah, so, I mean, it looks like it'll go much the same way as game 1, but Legacy obviously opting into what worked for them in game 2, being the Kha'Zix. Look, it will be more difficult for him. If we think back to the game 1 comp and already the champions that Order have locked in, those are not easy champions to kill as Kha'Zix, even early. I mean, yes, you can chunk them all if you get on them, but to actually kill them is quite difficult. So I'd be surprised to see Sybil snowball in the same way.
Yeah, I certainly think that if they are going to win this game, Sybil will be an integral part because they've actually even given him a rise this game, which gives him threat in the mid lane. He already has threat out of Varus plus Kha'Zix. We saw how that worked last game. So Order really going to have to respect Sybil, and I wonder whether they pick up an aggressive jungler to give to Spooks to try and match, or whether Spooks plays his game of control jungle versus Sybil plays his game of tempo jungling, and may the better jungler win on the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we look at the sort of the tail of this series, in game 1, Order had pretty much river control on both sides the whole game, sort of, because Sybil was just farming for his 6, but then when he hit 6, his bot lane died, and he didn't really have any opportunities, or he didn't create any opportunities either, to get that river control. And we heard Soul Strikes come out in game 2 and say, oh, you know, I really hope this game we work on our river control a bit better. And I feel like in this game, you know, picking the Rise instead of the Corki or a similar scaling champ, like, I mean, Azir was banned, I suppose, but a similar scaling champion. Going for Ryze, going for Kha'Zix. I think Solstrax is being a lot more deliberate in his drafting around what he wants to accomplish and how he thinks he will win. Because in game 1, the roams were just so free for Swiffer, and Spooks played very well as well. So I think that's the change that Legacy is trying to make, and we'll see whether Order make any changes.
And I like this adaptation from Legacy. I also like the one from Order, but let's hit the Legacy one first. I think that Spooks' Zac has been criminally underrated for a couple of weeks. I think that he's been very creative with the way he's used, you know, auto, Q flash auto onto certain champions. We actually saw it onto a Janna, and he blew the Janna up before she got ulti off. Game number 1 was no different. I also think that Mimic is a very good Ornn player, and that has finally been banned away. Potentially something like a Maokai. Poppy actually blind picked up into the top lane. Very interesting. Yet to see it in the OPL, but has reared its head overseas.
Yep, he's a great Poppy player. Played a lot of Poppy back in Korea. This might be intimate knowledge, I suppose, that I'm sharing, but he's a fantastic Poppy player. I'm not surprised to see him pick that into the Gnar. I don't think this matchup is super great for Poppy early, but I feel like post 6, once you get some items, she'll be fine. Nah, it'll be difficult for Gnar to kill her.
Yep, it's certainly one of those matchups where Gnar wants to stay mini for as long as possible, but Poppy actually has windows to abuse Gnar because he uses his hop for a lot of the ability to disengage the fight. And if Poppy somehow gets a tackle onto a creep or something like that and is able to start the fight, does percentage health damage off Q, which a lot of people overlook, and is incredibly tanky just through the W passive. I'll give you some intimate knowledge back. I think that Poppy is very strong on the current patch, and a champion that we will see more and more, and wouldn't be surprised to see Tally pick it in a couple of games either. I like Airy Poppy as well.
I think that's what he's going to use. But we see the Olaf locked in. We spoke about that. Got banned in game 1. We're going to see Predator Olaf probably. I think Olaf is super strong. Don't know about Olaf into Kha'Zix. I feel like Kha'Zix... I mean, Olaf early, level 3.
No one can kill Olaf.
No, level 3, it's sort of a face check battle. Whoever face checks who is probably going to win the fight. Olaf might even still win though. But especially at 6 and from level 5 on, from level 5 onwards, Kha'Zix does so much damage to Olaf, especially because when Olaf ults, he loses defensive stats, and Kha'Zix can really just shred through him.
We'll see how that one works out. What you really want to look for, however, is the fact that no one is going to stop Olaf getting into the backline, because that's just the way the champion works. And Galio will follow shortly afterwards. So that's the team fight engage they're looking for. On the other side, Legacy's comp, you would expect a big 1-3-1 comp to come out, because Varus plus Kha'Zix and the Taric ult holds turrets very well. They can stun creep waves. There's lots of creative things they can actually do. Plus Varus ult plus Kha'Zix, very hard to actually dive that team.
I think that's one of the big differences in these drafts from game 1 to game 3 is that Legacy have opted into the Taric again against the Galio. Last game it was against the Talia, but I feel like Taric against the Galio ult is going to be much more effective in the mid and late game, and perhaps even at those level 6 dives. So I like the adaptation from Legacy to continue with that Taric, but I also like the Ezreal Braum a lot. It's a very strong lane, very safe, extremely difficult to kill, but also does a lot of damage.
Goes forward and goes backwards. Not very many lanes in League of Legends actually do that. You would say like Kalista Thresh and kind of Braum Ezreal are kind of the 2 only lanes that go forward and back. Maybe Zyra Khan, they do everything. Busted together.
They got options. That's what I spoke about earlier. More options you have, the better. Well, Ezreal Braum, they got hella options.
We are onto someone terrific. Game number 3. This is the decider.
The cheese.
Legacy, with the last game, secured their gauntlet spot. So really, this one's just for the marbles. And we'll see whether the cheese, as you so accurately describe it, works out here.
I wonder whether they are going to go early. Boomerang hits, and he dies.
Boomerang axe you would have to expect to follow. There we go. They actually show themselves. He flashes immediately. Good, respectful play from Mimic. And once again, a 1%er that he does so well.
Those are the fundamentals. You have to flash here. A worse player maybe, or a greedier player decides, I might just be them too. Maybe I can just walk it out. Maybe I just burn some pots and walk to my... Maybe I take W and just walk to my tower. But he knows that, look, sometimes you just get cheese and you got to flash early. Better to lose the flash and not take W and take the laning spell. And then just hope you don't get ganked.
Another small fundamental. He doesn't have flash, and he's not going to have his ward now when Olaf is level 3 and can gank top. However, he still burns the ward into the brush and says, Sybil, this is now safe. You can go in there. Want to point out Spooks' jungle start. He started blue buff with no leash. This is something only Olaf can do, and I believe we saw Score show it to the world.
Yep.
What he's going to do here is he's going to aggro Gromp, and he's going to be taken as low as he possibly can. Should not burn pots here. And as Gromp is whacking away at him, Olaf's passive means he gets more attack speed.
There's a pot.
He actually used a pot.
He probably would have died. Well, actually, I don't know. He died, but in any case.
Potentially wants to go for a quick invade or something like that,
Level
so wants to
top.
be healthier. Potentially level 2 top.
Or a level,
or a full clear.
Level 3 top, yeah, maybe full clear. I mean, I would have liked to have seen level 2. Like, you know, Poppy has no flash. It's Predator. I mean, actually, no, he doesn't have boots, but he does have... The reason I said Predator is he doesn't have Ghost. He has the flash, so you can just flash axe him and probably just hunt him down with axes and boomerangs. But opts into the full clear instead. And Olaf, I mean, he clears so fast. Sybil's still in his third camp, and Spooks is ready to clear his bot side.
The other thing is Olaf doesn't do Scuttle Crabs all that well. So jungle camps actually become a lot more important to him because you probably not going to get, like, Sejuani, like 4 attacks, one hits them.
But also he burns all his mana if he tries to do it.
Yep.
Sybil's invading. Maybe he knows. Maybe he switched onto this jungle clear. Spooks is going to face check him. He doesn't ward.
He wards now. Sybil will hop over the wall. Respectful flash. Will get chased off his red buff, however.
It's
a big story. Priority bottom lane achieved for Legacy as well as mid lane. So Spooks honestly had really no business going for a greedy clear like that.
Yeah, well, maybe Sybil's also watched that VOD.
Yep.
Maybe he knows what the Olaf clear is and predicts it, manages to steal away this red, doesn't use his smite, which indicates to me he might be looking for these Krugs as well. Doesn't do it.
You would honestly like to see him go for Krugs because even if Spook shows back up, he's flashless.
Yeah.
And mid and bottom is still being shoved in.
Yep.
So it's not like you're going to get collapsed on all that quickly.
Yep.
And it puts so... I hate when I'm playing bottom lane and I know a jungler's at Krugs because it puts so much pressure on you. You take one bad trade, you can actually be dove by a level 3 jungler quite easily, especially if he has flash available.
Yep. Absolutely agree. I think that was definitely a Gromp Golem take. But he's got the read on him again, and he's got no flash. We'll see whether he... No. Oh, well, top lane got pushed in, so probably a good move.
Yep. And Claire also wants the tier recall, which is something that you see a lot.
Yep. So Sybil hits him with the read 2 times. Knows he's gone to red, knows he wants to counter the Wraiths. Probably predicted that Spooks thought he would take the Golem, sorry. And so he opts into going back to his own chickens because he thinks... this is the only camp Spooks thinks he can take safely. So I have to say that's high level jungling. That's guessing.
Yeah, that's a good read. Now they're looking for Claire. They will axe him. They will not get any CC down. However, can Claire just walk this one out? Yes, he can. The movement speed boost from Ryze has always been so important. He's looking for a chunk back onto Spooks as well.
Yeah, that was just a poor taunt from
Swiffer?
From Swiffer.
Yep.
Yeah, he was just holding on to the taunt, looking for that flash. But Claire just walked to the bottom side of the lane. Now, unfortunately, Spooks was there waiting for him, but Spooks is only level 3. He doesn't have much damage yet. Claire was already level 5. Managed to just walk that one out.
And Spooks, the whole time he's been in his bottom side jungle, has just been stepping on wards.
Yep.
And you can see right now, Sybil is just pinging on his way to the top side jungle, knows he's going to be after this, knows he probably cannot get there in time. Is going to be a ward there. However, with priority in top lane, should just be able to take these camps away for free.
Oh, he's looking at the mid lane, though he knows he was on a pink.
Does that chunk from Claire stop Sybil from being able to counter jungle?
Well, it depends on if he has any charges, and he doesn't have any charges in his refillable potion. So, yeah, it looks like Sybil's going to walk in anyway. I mean, at the end of the day, right, he can beat... Claire can stay, because Olaf has no flash, and if Olaf shows up, he's a dead man. Now, I don't like that Sybil's waiting, though. He really needs to either start a camp or leave.
Yep.
And he's looking for kills instead of farm, which is just a rookie mistake in, I think, League of Legends. If your objective is kills, you're doing it wrong. Kills happen as a result of good play.
Spooks will spot him in. He's control warded his own. Actually, Claire going to go down very low here. Burns the flash.
Meanwhile, Spooks is getting collapsed on.
Yeah, he certainly is. Sybil will be able to do a lot of damage now. However, will get slowed down again. Flash over the wall from Tally. He wants this one. Galio coming in as well. That's a Summoner Spell burnt.
Okay.
For absolutely nothing. Summoner Spell and ult.
Yeah, so they have the Galio ult. They're looking for a proactive play. Doesn't pay off there. Not sure why. But maybe they thought that, you know, Kha'Zix didn't have flash, or maybe they thought his jump was down. I'm not sure what the comms were, but thought they could pick up a kill. Unfortunately, wasn't to be for Order. But I have to say, that's We saw a very good early opening from Sybil, but that was a very poor passage of play.
And this is kind of what our criticism has been of junglers like Sway, is they can do the first step, and they know what the second step should be, but something goes wrong somewhere on the map. Maybe it was a chunk from Claire. I don't think that was enough to stop him from starting up the Gromp or the Wolf Camp or something like that. But maybe in his head, he's thinking, now I can't go for this play. And because he doesn't sack, when you're not willing to sack a play, it actually puts you very far behind.
But he dies if he goes for this.
Ooh.
Yeah,
See,
and Claire
Spooks actually goes for it. Sybil is there as well. You can see Spooks taking so much damage. Taunt is here. Sybil has flash, however, on the back end. Picks up first blood again for Legacy.
Yeah, Spooks is not having a great game. He finally gets those boots, opts into the Predator mid, but I mean, they know Claire has no flash because Swiffer almost solo killed him, but Olaf, he's just too far behind the next B. I'm not sure. I think he's level 4 still. I don't think he's level 5. And yeah, Rise just turns it around. Sybil happens to be in the area.
He would have to be level 5 because he's actually 2 camps up. It's just the fact that Sybil just grabbed himself a kill. See, at the same time, now goes back, gets himself those Moby boots straight away, whereas Spooks is sitting on a Hunter's Potion. You always know that the early game's going crap when a
enemy jungler is rushing the Mobies. But it is a Kha'Zix thing. You just want to have Mobies when you're 6 because the synergy is just so good. But yeah, I mean, Olaf doesn't scale well, guys. It's not a great mid-game champ. It's a horrible late-game champ. So Spooks has really got to turn it around and quickly, otherwise there's going to be a world
going to put in some work here. He's already burnt the ulti, so we'll not be able to get any more. However, Mimic goes very low. Might just have to sack out on a turret wave. Gets a nice shield there, however. Doesn't take the hyper proc either.
Well, the problem for Tally is that he has no flash either. So it's very difficult for Tally to dive.
Sybil saw that ward go down.
Sybil's mid laner is not in the middle lane.
Yeah, Spooks and Swiffer doesn't have ultimate, sorry. I was going to say Swiffer has ulti.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's close enough that they're worried about it. But look at the bottom lane control coming out of Legacy right now. Very nice to see from your boys.
And
see all in bottom lane. That's going to be the ultimate down by Decoy. And can they successfully disengage? Great ultimate coming out from Raid. That's going to be Claire down here looking for Rogue. He still has flash available. Will have to burn it now. Claire going to continue the chase. Stun comes out and lands. And you can see because Claire has not been tagged up, the heal will have to be burned as well. However, now Claire gets stunned in his ultimate. That's a 2v3, and members are heading down. They've caught out Swiffer in the mid lane. However, he's going to commit to the play. Will take some damage on the back end. Does he have flash available? No, he does not. Will take reduced damage while in taunt. Door comes up. In flies Sybil. Once again, picking up a kill. The Olaf is here. However, they just will back away. Spooks, not confident to go for that play, and I think he should have.
Swiffer got caught in the river rotating there. He wanted to ult much earlier, but Kha'Zix was waiting for him. It's like you said, those roaming mids versus Kha'Zix. It's so difficult to get down there in time. I think Rogue and FBI played that pretty much as well as they could have, but just wasn't enough. This Kha'Zix pick, I think, is coming up huge.
It's coming up the trumps, and I said to you in the pre-show, Order probably need to ban Kha'Zix if they're not going to play towards mid lane. Because Kha'Zix in the pure 2v2 is okay. But honestly, if you have a Cassiopeia plus a tank jungler, you will win this 2v2 most of the time because you just fling spells at Kha'Zix, he can't get in. However, when you play things like Galio, Talia, as Swiffer has become known for, I think more and more teams are going to figure out the fact that if you just cut off the rotation, he can't ever get to the fight.
And this is why river control is so important, and that's why we talk about it so often. You could see, and you mentioned just before it happened, Legacy had complete bot side river control, and yet Order, they opt into this play, but because they don't have vision in the river, it's not safe for Swiffer, he can't get down there in time, and Legacy managed to stymie what was a good play out of the Order lineup, purely through 2 pink wards.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw actually probably some good mechanical outplays coming out of FBI and Rogue. They were tagging up the right people. They cancelled the Rise port out of there. They thought they had Swiffer in, but the Moby boots, he got a good chunk. Then he raced down bottom through all the brushes and was just able to make it work. And you see now looking for Spooks again in the jungle.
Yep. They're looking at the bottom lane here. They're walking up.
And you see no flashes available out of FBI and Rogue. That's a Rise ulti already. They use the Chains of Corruption. They stun up Rogue. Teleport's now coming in. Will they be able to turn this time around? It's going to be Swiffer completing the teleport play again. Has flash. Will not get the stun, however, as it just times out. Now it is a genuine 4v3, and it looks like Order are going to get this turned on them again. Damage down from everyone from Legacy. That's going to be 3 kills for nothing, and Order get rinsed.
Let's go. Huge turn. I mean, I don't think that Order are necessarily playing it that bad, but I really like the draft. This Taric ult is just so useful. Oh, sorry, he didn't even use it, but the one before
the reason of it.
Yeah, the reason I wanted to say was in the ult before, Taric ult was massive. Here again, I mean, it just comes back up off cooldown, but Legacy, they have bot side river control. It's so telegraphed from Order what they want to do. They need to get these roams down in the bottom lane. Olaf wasn't there. That was a 4v3.
Yep.
They knew they had TP advantage because Ryze had used it in the last fight, so they thought with the Galio TP they could bypass the need for having a jungler. But you see here that Braum tanks everything and still lives. And FBI, he's playing so aggro. He wants to get in there so bad. But ultimately, this is a 4v3 and
I
they're
think
flashing
right here,
forwards.
you just take it. You say, we've got the flash from Decoy. Let's get the heck out of dodge. Swiffer stopped going forward. However, he thought he had the stun. Just timed out on the end, baited him in, and Sybil cleans up the back end of the fight again.
Yep. I mean, it's almost too easy for Sybil. He's not even, you know, it's not like a massive outplay or like whoa, Kha'Zix is so strong. He's just waiting in the wings and his teammates are chunking them and he jumps in at the end and cleans up those kills.
Absolutely agree, but that's all you got to be able to do with the Kha'Zix.
Yep.
Knowing when you can and cannot go in is half of the battle on the champion.
Absolutely.
Go in too early, you look like an absolute idiot. Go in too late, you do nothing. He's getting it just right now.
Order, they've sacked their bot wave to try and get some river control around mid, but wasn't to be, so now they have to go collect that wave and Legacy can pick themselves up a dragon.
Looks like they're just going to fish for potentially a Q over the wall, something like that, to see if they can steal it away. Use the ultimate and the Q, they get it.
I mean, that's well timed. Sybil did use the smite, or perhaps it was not up, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic steal from Order. Always nice to get something when you're behind.
Certainly is. He smoked too early, apparently. However, now mid lane under attack.
Flash.
Swiffer has no flash. As you mentioned, they bring 4 members over there. No response from Order. They're going to lose another turret.
Yep, and this is a byproduct of stacking that first wave to try and get some river control. They then have to go pick up the second wave and Legacy say, you know what? That wave, look where it is. It's slow pushing toward us. We don't need to deal with it yet. Let's just go 4-man mid.
And
Swiffer
look at
doesn't
this.
have flash.
Just the ebb and flow of the game. They say we've taken mid. Now let's take top. We've got every single one of our members topside jungle. Tally has to get away from turret. He's the last member of Order that is actually winning their lane.
Yep.
Probably a byproduct from Mimic not having flash level 1.
Yep.
But instead needs to get the heck out of dodge, and they're just going to sit here and pummel the turret.
This is textbook Legacy. This is how we see the game being played. This is how we like, you know, you use river
actually,
control.
flash forward from Spooks. Goes in with the Unstoppable as well. However, his teammate will be knocked out, and the stun just too late. However, the follow-up is there. Will get the ultimate out of Galio. However, that ulti from Taric again coming up massive. Swiffer's still in the front line. Front-to-back team fight now here. Look at the damage coming out of Claire. Layered CC. Swiffer falls down. Spooks will join him in the death chamber. And Claire, with the ultimate, going to bring all 5 members of Legacy here.
Wow.
Tally says, get the heck away from my team. Mimic's still going in forward. Gets tagged up now. Can they continue the fight? Decoy somehow... No, actually, he didn't die. What the heck was that? It was Claire that died, and they're going to be able to pick up Mimic as well. That's a 2 for 2 in the end. I didn't even see how Claire died.
Me neither, to be honest, but that was a huge Gnar ult out of Tally. Completely turned that. I mean, when you do stack in the Ryze ult like that, it does make it quite easy for a Gnar, but massive Ryze ult saves them from getting wiped. They end up trading back 2 kills in what looked like an absolute whitewash. I mean, you got up out of your seat. You were getting excited, but as we see this replay, huge Poppy ult to get Gnar out of the fight. Olaf all of a sudden finds himself in a 5v1. Manages to pick up that stun. Galio ult keeps him alive for a little bit longer. But this is a Taric ult. We spoke about it. It's just so good against Galio. He just gets stuck in the middle of 5 members. They're all full health except Sybil. This was some huge, huge Ryze bounce in a moment here. And they managed to pick up 2 kills. Now this is the killer blow. They're trying to end the game right now. But
he got ignited and ulted. Yeah, all right.
Great turn from Order. That's that good team fighting that we know them for. They managed to turn a 5v3 and maybe keep themselves in this series.
And I guess that is the one saving grace this time around, is you would say they have a better team fighting comp, maybe bar the Olaf, than what they had in game number 2. Still not sure it's a better team fighting comp than Legacy if they're going to be running in with a 4,000 gold lead.
Yep.
But it gives them options in the mid game.
It's all about options. But yeah, the problem here is that this Olaf is essentially useless. I mean, you saw him in that fight. What did he do? He tanked damage and forced Galio ult. I mean, I suppose getting a good Galio ult is something, but like, this game is essentially a 4v5. And that's the risk with Olaf. Olaf is such a good champion from ahead. From ahead, he is just so oppressive, so difficult to play against. But to be on from even or behind, he's just not that relevant. And the rest of Order is going to have to work twice as hard to get him over the finish line.
Yeah. Add some wave clear to a composition, but apart from that, which it could be helpful in a 1-3-1 from behind.
Yep.
But apart from that, I completely agree with you. Been one of the biggest critics of Olaf because I used to be a color caster back when Chippies would play it a lot top lane.
Yep.
And he would have the same difficulty. He would have to go, you know, Black Cleaver into full tank build, and it would just fall over. Very nice dancing shoes from Raid.
Yep.
And they do the discipline thing. They know there's 3 members up here. They don't have a numbers advantage.
Oh, they got TP advantage on the blue side. So
yep.
Any fight would have incurred a double TP from Order, and Legacy want to wait for their TPs to come up, or for at least for Rise to have priority so he can walk up.
And I think that's good play because what Order did last week when they had the advantage was they would step forward for that. As you mentioned, Collapse coming in here. Claire will just walk out. However, Sybil in some big trouble will stealth through the brushes and get away.
Don't you love Kha'Zix?
I think he's actually a very good spot right now.
You reckon? I reckon he's so dumb.
I think that I hate playing against him in solo queue. I think in competitive, he is like the only viable damage threat out of
the jungle
that shuts down 1-3-1.
Yep.
I hate seeing 1-3-1s just get locked in and take junglers being like, well, I can't kill him in the time, so you're on your own.
Yeah.
So I quite like Kha'Zix, even when he's tearing my team apart. Look, I'll be
looking for this team fight again. They still have TP advantage.
Spook's going to have to burn the ultimate. Where is the Galio ult? Sybil just jumps away. Ultimate for nothing. Successful disengage.
And you gotta wonder, you know, if that was a 0-2-0 Sejuani or 0-2-0 Zac, what would that have been? Well, potentially a one-team fight. They might have had their double TP with the Galio ult.
And Sejuani was up this game, I believe. I believe you guys banned Alistar as well as Zac in your second round picks.
We did. Yeah, so I think it was up.
So I believe Sejuani was up.
But maybe Spooks didn't want to opt into the same matchup as last game.
Yeah, potentially.
Because Legacy did pick the Kha'Zix up early, so.
I mean, I feel like that's a crap reason to not pick an S tier jungler, but we'll go with it.
I don't know, man. Sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you just think like that wasn't fun. I don't want to do that again. But usually in that scenario, I just ban the champion.
Do ya? Get rid of their champion, play your own champion. You can see Spooks, he's not that out of the game that he's going to let his jungle get pilfered by his own team.
I mean, he does have he's not like, in terms of champion stats, items, all those sorts of things, like he is there, but it's just the champion itself. It's just the kit. That's gating him.
The saving grace of this game, I will say right now, is the fact that Order actually stole that Mountain Drake. Because if Legacy get double Mountain Drake in this comp, Baron is like a blink and you miss it kind of thing.
I agree. I think they're very fortunate that, especially because this second one was a mountain. Like if this was a water or air or something, then it's like it's not a big deal. But double mountain is just so strong.
See whether they can get double mountain for themselves.
Okay, he waits it out this time.
Sybil holds it.
Sybil makes sure he secures that one.
Nerves of steel.
Yep. Okay, 20 seconds till Legacy dies.
It just sounds ridiculous coming from you. If I said it, people would be like, Flame. I'm sure you're getting lots of ones in chat right now.
Press 1 if you feel bad for him. No, look, I don't know. If you can't flame your own team, what right do you have to flame anyone else? You know what I mean?
100%.
I love flaming people when they come on the desk, when I'm lucky enough to get invited back. So you got to be able to flame your own players too.
And Swiffer potentially going to get collapsed on here by Claire. However, he senses something fishy is up. Knows that there's potentially a pocket Spooks. He is like pocket sand at the moment now. He is more of a distraction you chuck at someone than anywhere away to win a fist fight.
Yep. Game has slowed down a bit at the moment.
Ooh, potentially they've caught people out here, however, because Sybil is in behind. Actually, they flash forward onto Mimic. And, they actually bypassed for Spooks. They want to just get the heck out of dodge. Mimic, very nice charge. And they're just looking to play the other side of the map. Mimic will fall down for his team sin. 20 minutes on the dot. Legacy get picked off.
Yeah. I mean, good play, I suppose, out of Order. I was going to say this game has slowed down pretty significantly. Legacy have a lead, but they're not really pushing much. They're not gaining control of anything, but they look to control the side of the jungle that the teleport user is on, and they get punished for it. I mean, you do not want to control... I mean, Poppy doesn't need vision.
Absolutely not.
You never want to control the side of the jungle that your TP is on, because what's the point? The idea is that he leaves that. You want to control the other side where the TP isn't, so... bit of a brain fade, I think, out of the Legacy on the macro side, and Order punishment for it.
And, I mean, at this stage of the game, given the fact no Frozen Mallet picked up and the fact that Olaf is not great, that Mimic just walks away from the 2v1, I feel like. Potentially, you know, tackles a creep, gets very creative, bats one of them away with the big sledgehammer. All the things that Poppy has been very famous for. You can't jump on her, and yet they go to the Poppy, and what that does is it brings FBI and Rogue, and all of a sudden there's enough damage there to kill the super tank.
Exactly. So, yeah, big macro mistake. That's something you never want to do. Guys out there, if you're on the OCS, or if even you're an amateur team, OOL, or just playing with your friends, when it gets to this stage of the game, never walk to the person who has the TP. Make him come to you, because that's why he takes TP. Yeah,
exactly right. Rogue actually tags up Decoy again. Going to get stunned up here potentially. Red buff ticking. Very good hail of arrows from Decoy to keep FBI at bay. Will probably save the Taric ultimate.
There's no one mid, though, and I guess they need to start making something happening. I mean, they're 3k up, and they're seeding pretty much all the objectives.
However, this is a huge collapse coming out. They've got Poppy there first. Rise potentially could have ulted in. They don't go for it. That is bizarre play coming out of Legacy. I feel like Game 2, they were so decisive.
I think they're just spooked. I think just Game 3 against a good side, you know, this is shades of Direwolves again, where, you know, Direwolves was the same. They had a bigger gold lead, 5k, and then they were just so scared to pull the trigger on anything, so scared to get control of the jungle that ultimately they just let them farm for 15 minutes and lost.
See whether that is going to be the case. Once again, they have great Riverside control of topside to the point where Swiffer's like, is he going to face check me? I'll hold my W just in case he does. He doesn't. Very nice play out of Sybil, making sure he has control. But he's got the 3-0-4 scoreline again. And this stage last game, he was killing Swiffer. He was finding FBI. This time around, he's kind of just farmed his jungle up, and he's fallen into a 45 CS hold. And actually, even with a 3-0-4 scoreline, is behind in experience and equal in gold for Spooks.
Good
tag there. Raid into trouble, has to burn the flash. This time Decoy will have to burn the ultimate. Sunglasses come down, Rise will come in, and they will just look to successfully disengage here, potentially. No, lots of damage onto Spooks. Kind of caught in two minds, and now the collapse is here out of Legacy. That is going to be FBI getting tackled into the wall. Will flash out. Flash over the wall out of Claire, however, picks him up. And now you can see complete disengage will come out of order. Very nice play from Claire.
They have a mountain and they have 5 members. This is Baron time for Legacy, but we've seen this before. Jungler is still alive. Olaf doesn't have flash. We'll have to see whether they try it.
The difficult thing is here is they only have one tank. So Mimic can't go out to deter people. So this will result in a fight, you feel. Commit
Olaf's
is
get
there.
Into the pit.
Olaf going to get into the commit, as you mentioned. 1,500. They hold it. It gets smited down. It gets taken by Claire. They pick up another kill, and now Tally has to disengage. Will look for the kill onto Sybil. Pick him up. However, they get Swiffer at the same time. Tally not going to get access to that mid lane creep wave, so we'll just have to continue to run. Mimic does a good thing by tackling the creeper and applying Baron buff so that melee stays alive. Everything counts at this stage of the game, and they'll look to push down mid.
They'll probably pick up one tower here, but that was about as spooky as it gets. I mean, they did have the Poppy ult. I didn't think about that. I thought this Olaf's just going to walk straight into the pit, but he missed the Poppy ult anyway, and Olaf did get into the pit. So very lucky there that Claire picked up the Baron. Wasn't even Sybil. He probably did an early smite, and Claire managed to just pick up some splash damage and finish it off. So
I'd like to see it again, because I don't know if he did smite. I think Spooks did the early smite by, like, I feel like 300 health.
No, I think Sybil definitely smite.
Okay.
Because his second smite just came up too quickly, which means he had 2 charges and he definitely used one. So unless he used it in combat, I feel like he did. Because that went from, like, 1k to 0 very quickly. So this is the right call. They have a mountain. They've got a ton of damage. They have a tank here. So burning it is the right call. This Poppy ult, ideally knocks Spooks out of here. But smite, and then, so he smote about 1k, and then Rise finished it off. Sybil flashes forward and dies for it. But, you know, they pick up the Baron. They get 1 or 2 kills. So you'll take that as a Legacy fan.
Absolutely, and especially when you have a 1-3-1 comp. What could have been if Mimic right now was sitting on a Baron of Command and they had 2 to be able to banner up 2 waves? Potentially would have been a big threat coming in for the Order lineup. Order at this stage of the game likes to attack the 1s in the 1-3-1. So I think Legacy has done a very good thing here by grouping and actually not pushing in mid lane. That lane will push by itself, and now they're just going to be able to take themselves a free turret. And if Order don't rotate quickly enough, which they haven't so far, this wave will crash onto the inner, and it is abandoned up minion.
Well, the problem now for Tally is that despite being 1-0-3, despite having 2 items in a tank first range matchup, the Baron just means he can't split push. And so he has to come group as Mini-Nar. Oh! Raid's looking for the snipe.
That was,
no vision though.
to use Atlas's favorite word, disgusting.
That was big deeps.
That is against
That was big
a
old
QSS.
deeps. Yeah, he's got some MMR.
He's got magic resist.
Yep, and they just force their way in with that.
And Order is just going to have to go. They cannot let their base go down, you feel like. Mimic is caught out on the side. Potentially will have to scurry away. Tackles himself out. That means that Tally can look to go right now. Does not get the hop, but he gets the 2-man Nar ulti into the wall. Already Sybil is dead. Claire will be able to get into that. They knock away the Braum. They tackle Tally, and now they're just fighting front to back. This is going to be a massive ultimate onto the backline. However, you see Mimic's W is just putting in work, and FBI does not have the stats to get through him. Claire going to take Mimic into the backline, tackles out another member, and this just might be game right now. Legacy are onto the Nexus turrets with Baron buff.
That Poppy W was so huge. Galio not able to get out with his E. FBI is trying to make a last stand.
Does not get stunned up. However, Baron, Nexus turret number 1 gone. Mimic puts on the W, gets a huge shield. Nexus turret number 2 is going to fall down, and Order do not have an answer. They blow up Rogue. However, they're just ignoring him. They actually kill him. And right now, Legacy are going to do what many thought they could not. They're going to pick up the 2-1 victory, and they're going to cement themselves as a serious contender in the OPL.
Legacy finally make it happen. They finally put all 3 parts of the game together. Early game, mid game, and late game. We saw against Direwolves, they struggled. Chiefs, even worse, absolutely pumped. But finally, we get to see maybe a glimpse of what this team is capable of. Gauntlet is only 1 week away now for this team. They've secured themselves a spot in it. Potentially a 4th place spot now with a victory over Order.
Certainly could be.
So, huge things from the boys in green.
Potentially, we're seeing the capitulation of Order. They have played 2 top 3 teams right now, if you put Legacy in that bracket. Direwolves twice and Legacy once. And they've lost all 3 of them. The only team in the gauntlet that they have currently beaten is Avant. So potentially, some speed wobbles for Order right now.
Well, they definitely did have a tough run home. Or do have a tough run home. Still 1 game to go for them.
Got Chiefs next week.
Yeah, they've got Chiefs next week, which is the number 1 team right now. So, yeah, definitely tough run home for Order. I mean, they're still a super talented team. That first game was incredible from them. You know, Legacy didn't look like they were close whatsoever. So, you know, I don't think it's alarm bells yet for this team. I think they could definitely come good by Gauntlet. Yeah, no, look, you have to say that this is an upset, but I'm stoked.
Yeah, you would be. And this is 2 games in a row. Honestly, 2 weeks in a row, honestly, where Orders come in, got off the plane, come in, played game 1, look like they're flying still. Looks like they're still sitting at 10,000 altitude, just cruising along.
Looking down on everyone else.
Yeah, but in back-to-back games, they've been run over in game 2 and game 3.
Yep.
And you have to think that potentially, you know, something...
Maybe fatigue setting in?
The mid-game adaptations, like I think that not getting rid of Kha'Zix in that series is just a blatant drafting error.
Yep. That's something for Choo-Choos, I suppose, to look at. I'm sure Spooks would have had his input. You know, Kha'Zix, I can handle Kha'Zix on Olaf. Like, it's not Kha'Zix, it was the Sejuani.
Yep.
No, weren't able to handle it. Kha'Zix just seemed like the perfect counter to their heavy roam style out of mid. And I think Sybil played it really well.
And you have to say that this is another time that Order, even when the game is in a balance, has looked desperate, flashing forward in a 2v3, taking an Infernal Dragon fight versus Direwolves when they didn't necessarily had to. Legacy took the game, but Order wasn't necessarily, you know, playing very solid League of Legends during that mid game either.
Yeah, I mean, but it's kind of weird, right? Because it's not like this is not a veteran team.
Yep.
There are no rookies on this team. You know, FBI is the young, like has played the least amount, and he's played last year, you know, a bit, and he's played this split. It's not like it's not like he's totally new. So you wouldn't really expect that. You'd think that, you know, they'd remain composed in a 3rd game. Like I know James, for instance, he's usually very good in tense games. But yeah, a bit of overreaching, maybe. I don't know.
And it's not like they're stranger to pressure games. All these members have been to Rift Rivals or international events. They're all big game players. However, today, Legacy, I mean, Sybil and Claire, 2 of the players that you would maybe say aren't necessarily that, did rise to the occasion and certainly looked the goods in that game number 3.
Yep, I think a great game out of the both of them. You know, Claire managing to absorb the pressure, not blowing flash on the first gank, and then, you know, he didn't die to any following ganks, was able to follow most of the Galio roams into the bot lane, was very active in the bot side jungle. I thought yeah, I thought Claire had a fantastic game on the rise. I liked him on that a lot more than compared to the Corky in game 1, where we sort of saw him AFK farm for 15 minutes and then lose. So, no, I think that was just a great game out of him.
Yeah, completely agree. So Legacy, with a fantastic series, are able to pick up the 2-1 victory. And to hear more about that, let's hear from Laura Sharp and the victorious Sybil.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, we are joined by the victorious Sybil. Congratulations, Legacy are now locked in for the gauntlet. It is good stuff. You had a great performance on Kha'Zix, in particular this series. How does it feel being able to take down Order?
That was a crazy freaking series. Holy. Yeah, that feels really good. I'm happy, very happy. It's very nice to lock in the gauntlet. So yeah, it was up in the air.
Like me watching that game, like game 2. That was just absolutely ridiculous. So for me, what happened between the shift from game 1, going from champions like Sejuani, and then shifting that priority to Kha'Zix? What was going on backstage, and what was was it a mindset shift, or was more just identifying you're not playing to your strengths?
I think in game 1, we were very reliant on our bot lane to keep a lead, and we got ganked like a few times, and it was kind of hard to snowball after that. So in game 2, I had the option of picking Zach or Kha'Zix, and I figured that like if I'm on Zach, I really don't have much I guess
like proactivity.
Proactivity, yeah. So I'm just like waiting for them to siege our towers, and I'm like, all right, guys, like they're taking our towers. Let's jump in and maybe we'll win a fight. But if I'm on Kha'Zix, I just feel like he's probably the strongest level 3 jungler. He feels so strong at level 3. So I really like Kha'Zix for that reason. He just gets so much done in the early game. I can just push a really strong lead from the start, and I really like that about Kha'Zix. So that's why I picked him. I just really wanted that like strength early.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other question I had was, what were the comms like in game 2, and especially around the mid to late game when it was getting towards the 3rd, 4th Baron? Like, how were the confidence levels at that stage?
3rd, 4th Baron, yeah. We knew that like because the second Elder's so strong at the moment. We kind of had that in the back of our mind, and we had. I think I lacked a bit of sort of a seeing into the future in that game, because we had Varus Azir, right? And I'm there like, I just want to stealth through the jungle all game. Like I just want to keep stealthing through, and I just want to keep opening up on Swiffer because he hates Kha'Zix. Yeah. So I'm just there like stealthing through the whole time, and I got like way too overzealous a few times. As you saw, I'm just like next to 5 people. Yeah. But yeah, we were like, the Baron was the first 2 was like okay, but it got stolen because missed the smite, and then I guess we just kept in it because of Varus Azir, really. Yeah.
Talking about Swiffer, he made such a big impact on the Galio in game number 1. Were you guys like confident to not ban it out in game number 3? Did you have a plan in place?
Yeah. We knew it's comfort for him, so we were kind of a bit worried of it, but we had a plan for it. So, you know, he's just good on Galio, and their team plays well with Galio, and yeah, I think we did well to like adapt to it in game 2 and 3.
And with 8.4 coming out, obviously there's been a lot of changes in the jungle. I wanted to ask how you personally have been finding them, and do you think the meta is good for Legacy right now?
I'll answer the first part first. I really like the changes so far, just because it gets so stale when you're picking Sejuani every game, and so it was really nice to just see some other junglers come in, even if it's Skarner. I don't mind. Like any junglers that come in, because Skarner was a champion that just no one played for like the longest time. So it was really nice to just have him come in, and I'm like, oh, I'm a pro player, and now I have to pick up this random shitty champ that just hasn't been good for like years, and I got to pick him up. So that was really cool. And then champions like Kha'Zix got even stronger because they removed the warding tracker's knife. Yeah, it's a great change. And then the second part of the question was what? Is Legacy good on this patch?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we won that game.
Don't want to give too much away.
Yeah. No, I'd say like I like this change. I like the changes. I think I'd say we're an alright team at adapting to patches. Lucho's got a big brain, so it's always nice. Yeah, I'd say it's a good start, but I can't confirm. Other teams are looking pretty good. Like Chiefs last week looked really scary on this patch, so I think they're a team to look out for. Yeah.
So I've actually got a little question. Maybe this is a bit of a detour from maybe not really relevant to this for these games, but How do you think you've obviously been on Direwolves and Avant, now Legacy. What are some of the main differences? Like, you've gone from a top laner like Chippies, and then you've gone Pabu, and now you've got someone like Mimic.
No, I had Series, not Pabu.
Oh, Series, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you think what are the main differences between this dynamic, especially from more the top side of the map?
Top side of the map. Okay. Well, I think Fantix and Claire are pretty similar. So when I started playing with Claire, I was pretty excited because I got to play with a new mid laner who's been around for so long. He's so good. And then I found there's quite a few similarities. So I kind of felt like I had some experience with Fantix that I could bring into with Claire, which was really nice.
It's like Rise, like the similar champion pools.
Yeah,
as well.
and also like just as people, I guess they're kind of similar. And then Series, between Series and Chippies, and now Mimic. Well, Mimic's really good, and his English is good enough. Like we just joke around. It's really good. I think Mimic's the most sort of he knows how to play for the team more than the other two that I played for. Although Sirius was pretty good at it too. I just think he wasn't as good as Mimic. So Mimic's like better and plays for the team, which is really nice. Chippy's had problems with like playing for the team, I thought. And yeah, so it's like I guess that shift. But you know, everyone's like got problems. Everyone's got their own like problems as players. So you just have to really like accommodate for those problems. Yeah.
So I think last question for me was that obviously you had rough game 1 into a decently strong game 2 performance, and then pulling out the win in game 3. What do you think you credit that ability to be able to stay in it for game 3 and actually pull out a win? Like as I was saying to Laura before, I kind of say that strength in terms of actually being able to close out a game 3 and go through the full series is more infrastructure, coaching, that type of stuff. Do you think as though that's something that Lucio has been helping you guys with, or Carbon on the outside of it, or what do you think kind of comes down to that?
I'm not really sure. I can't really say why we were able to like stick in there.
Yeah.
I guess it's just sort of a very sort of innate thing that we lost the first game and I was like, damn, like we really should have won that.
Yeah.
And then in game 2 I was like, I'm not gonna like sit quietly while we lose another game. So I went for the Kha'Zix. I wanted to be a bit more proactive. And I knew that if me and Brandon just like got a bit of a lead, that we could definitely like carry the momentum, I guess. Yeah, I can't really say much more than that. I guess we were just pretty hyped, and we feel like we should be winning more. And so I guess we're trying to prove ourselves. And yeah, I guess that's the fire within. Yeah.
Sybil, you've been in much higher spirits today than you were last time we spoke to you. What's next for Legacy? Are you prepping for next week, or are you starting to prepare for your first gauntlet match against Avant now that you're locked in?
Well, we've got Bombers next week. But, I mean, it's no disrespect to them at all, but Gauntlet's just what's important right now. So, like, I can't say that match is... Actually, I don't know whether or not we get a higher seeding if we beat them. I don't know. But, if we get a high seeding from beating them, then we'll take that game extremely seriously and we'll try and win. But we will definitely set our eyes on the Gauntlet for now because, if you look at Sin last year, they just blitzed it. Yeah. That was great. So yeah, we just need to... We need to do that.
Just do that.
Just do that.
It's called
except this time.
Ask for some tips from Juice.
Yeah. Juice has got all the tips.
What are you going to call it though? Because it can't be the Cinderella Dream.
I don't know. That's intense. That's hard.
Legacy, just the Legacy run.
The Legacy run. All right. Well, congratulations on
the run of the Legacy.
Congratulations on your win for this series, Sybil. We're going to head to a break, but in this week's episode of the Hungry Jacks 1v1 Takedown, we brought back the Legacy Chiefs rivalry with Destiny taking on Claire. That'll be coming up right after these highlights.
Oh, don't watch that.
4v3, and it looks like Order are going to get this turned on them again. Damage down from everyone from Legacy. That's going to be 3 kills for nothing, and Order get rinsed. Look at the damage coming out of Claire. Layered CC, Swiffer falls down. Spooks will join him in the death chamber. 1500, they hold it. It gets smited down, it gets taken by Claire. They pick up another kill, and now Tally has to disengage. We'll look for the kill onto Sybil, pick him up. However, they get Swiffer at the same time. Does not get the hop, but he gets the 2-man Nara ulti into the wall. Already Sybil is dead. Claire will be able to get into that. They knock away the Braum. They tackle Tally, and now they're just fighting front to back. This is going to be a massive ultimate onto the backline. However, you see Mimic's W is just putting in work, and FBI does not have the stats to get through him. They're going to take Mimic into the back line, tackles out another member, and this just might be game right now, and Order do not have an answer. They blow up Road, however, they're just ignoring him. They actually kill him, and right now, Legacy are going to do what many thought they could not. They're going to pick up the 2-1 victory.
Claire's been around the scene for like a lot of years, and he's been like hyped up as one of the best mid laners in Oceania.
I definitely think there's a lot more pressure on me to perform. I feel like if I win, then it's not going to mean much because I'm versing a support main, whereas if I lose, then it's like, crap, I just lost to a support main.
I've solo killed Crown in Korea, so I reckon I can solo kill Claire in my home turf, you know?
Hey. Oi.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, this is for you.
Go away.
Come here,
I don't want your present. Go away.
Oh, you're getting zoned already. What is this?
I told you, Poppy into Gragas is OP. What?
Where's your presence in the lane? Support?
I'm a support man. I don't come to this lane. Look at me.
Oh shit. Alright.
Come here.
Let me go home now.
Oh no. What is this? Oh my god. Oh, I'm out. Peace.
Alright, bye bye.
No way, I'm not. Oh my god.
I thought my Q would do way more damage.
Holy, that was scary. Wait, that was pretty clever. That was actually pretty smart. You're a clean Poppy.
I know. Oh my god! Alright. Alright. I should have based. GG.
GG, man.
Yeah, so I think his 5 health potion strategy ended up being very good. I think it was a bit of a gamble. I could have based, I could have come back with a big item advantage, but I decided to stay in lane and he just kind of killed me from 40% HP.
Yeah, like halfway through the game, I was like, ah, crap, like I've lost this. Like he's up so much health, so much CS, and he's just gonna buy like a spectral cow and just out-sustain me. But yeah, I just kept a positive outlook and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna win somehow.